Alright, let's do this. Movie collection update, November 19th, 2020, Thursday night. How's everybody doing tonight? It's always good to sit down, kick back, and do one of these. It's been a little crazy, a little busy. I started doing a full-time job about 6-7 weeks ago. Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, salaried. So it's been good. It's been keeping me very busy, but we're doing all right. Gives me more time at night and on weekends to just relax, catch up on movies, especially now while the world is still a cesspool of shit with coronavirus. So here we go. Now, a lot of these came from Disc Replay, a local store near me. And it's, you know, it's a used trade-in, buy movies and stuff really cheap, what have you. I got most of these came from the clearance bin. I want to say about 50% of everything in here probably came from me blind buying shit for $1 there. And case in point with these first two, which are VHS tapes, so they had some VHS tapes there, and I'm a big fan of stuff like Red Letter Media, Best of the Worst, especially when they do the Wheel of the Worst, and they're always showing the really obscure VHS tapes of like these weird self-help videos and these weird kind of training videos. So I'm always on the hunt for like really obscure gems like that, no matter how stupid they might be. Case in point with this, it was 50 cents. I said, that looks too ridiculous. I can't pass it up. It's Patrick's birthday party. And I'm a big, traveling, 50 cents, so why not? But I'm a big traveling fan, as you know, if you follow my channel. Well, not 2020, obviously, but usually every year I like doing vacations. I like going on all these solo adventures, and so I got this for also 50 cents, Hawaii, the Magnificent Islands. So if I ever want to plan a trip to Hawaii one day, I got the details right there. Moving on to Blu-rays. This one I ordered online. It came out through Scorpion, I believe, yeah. I always, you know, I don't double down on movies too much if I have it on a DVD to Blu-ray, only if it's one I really, really like. But this happens to be one that I love. It's one of my favorite 80s comedies. It's a great movie. The Heavenly Kid. So when I saw they were doing a special edition Blu-ray of this, I had to grab it. Got interviews with Lewis Smith and Nancy Vallon, director commentary, so I'm like, hey, always gotta get for that. And they actually tell some cool stories during that commentary as well. I have this on a DVD double feature with another movie called Teen Witch. That one's not as good, it's really cheesy, but that kind of makes it fun to watch, but this is where it's at right there. So, great movie, finally gets the Blu-ray release it deserves. This is a Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray of old Empire Pictures, which became Full Moon, called Spellcaster. You know, Vinegar Syndrome does a really nice job. I'm not a subscriber to them or anything, because their titles are always pretty hit or miss with me. The only reason I got this one is because it stars Richard Blade, who I won't go into the whole story, but Richard Blade and I hung out in the Dominican Republic in 2017, and he brought me up on stage and did some really nice things for me, so I had to see this just for him. This is a crazy, it's like Adam Ant is in it. It's like this cast full of MTV personalities, including the girl from the Aha Take On Me music video is in this, and it's like this weird demented castle, like dark comedic version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, where these people in this castle, it's like, it's a mad, 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 mad world meets Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory meets Castle Freak, or there's something like that. But it's an 80s Empire Picture movie. Anything with Charles Band's name on it, you know exactly what you're gonna get. Ridiculously entertaining. And they even got an interview with Richard Blade on here too, which is awesome, because Richard Blade, he's a good guy. I got some good personal memories with him. This better be the last one. Tremors, Shrieker Island. No, I like the first four. especially the first two. 3, okay. 4 is interesting. 5 was a piece of shit. 6 was watchable, but still not that good. Now we got Tremors Shrieker Island, which of the 3, 5, 6, 7, it's the best of the 3, but it's really not saying too much. At least there's a more dynamic cast in this and a lot more action. Michael Gross coming back as Burt Gummer. You got John Heder in there, which is interesting. The script is really flat for this one, but, you know, at least it has its moments of action. The CGI and special effects ranges from being pretty good to being shit. It's like they did half the movie with effort and the other half not. But I know the ending to this one, if you've heard about how this ends or not, you could probably guess. I pretty much put 2 and 2 together how this was going to end before I even saw it. But, you know. Are we really shocked? I won't say anything for spoilers, but yeah. You know, Tremors Shrieker Island, it's not terrible, but you don't need 7 Tremors. I wanted them to do a Kevin Bacon sequel, because Kevin Bacon did do some kind of a pilot where he brought his Val character back. I think that'd be great to get Kevin Bacon back in it. Now this one I was mad because right after I bought this, I found a double pack of Predator 1 and 2, a double Blu-ray together, and I'm like, fuck. So I'll have to get Predator 1 again a separate time, but until then I got Predator 2, which is a great underrated sequel. I mean, Danny Glover, Gary Busey, Robert Davi, Bill Paxton. It's one of the best casts ever. If you're an 80s, 90s action fan, casts don't get any better than that. And I especially love Bill Paxton. He's a lot of fun in this. His character's pretty great. Danny Glover holds his own really well, and you got Gary Busey in there as the asshole FBI agent. Predator 2. I know this movie gets a lot of hate, and I don't understand it. I think Predator 2 is quite a lot of fun. I don't think it deserves any of the hate. What's the big deal? Next up, we got Little Nikita, which this is one I've been like in and out on for many years. I've always known about the existence of this with River Phoenix and Sidney Poitier, Richard Bradford, and Richard Lynch. If Richard Lynch is in something, you know he's playing the bad guy. And it's funny, I have kind of a connection to this movie because the song Paradise that was done for Whitewater Summer, that after 5 years of searching, I unearthed after it was thought to be lost, and it's on my channel right now, Paradise by Kaylee Adams. That song plays for literally 3 seconds in this movie. So that was, I'm like, oh yeah, Paradise is in that. So, but no, it's actually a pretty cool movie. You know, it's more of a drama, more of a, I don't know if I'd say thriller, kind of, but it's a little bit more of a story-driven espionage thriller, loose thriller. There's some fun stuff in there, though, like Sidney Poitier's subplot, dating River Phoenix's principal or his guidance counselor. That's a pretty fun thing. And it's Richard Bradford and Richard Lynch as the Russians. Richard Lynch is always entertaining. So yeah, it's not action-packed. It's not, you know, edge-of-your-seat suspense. Well, for what it, you know, it's, I mean, look, you know, look at that. It's a Cold War thing, like, or Ruskies was another one. I think there was one in the 80s called The Rescue with Kevin Dillon. Next up, adding on to my Paul Walker collection, because Paul Walker, R.I.P., I'm trying to collect as many of his movies as I possibly can. I believe, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, I believe this is the last film he completed all the way through before he was killed in the accident. Because I know Furious 7, he died halfway through. So I think this is the last one he completed, and that's Brick Mansions. It's a remake of something. I haven't seen the original, so I can't compare and contrast. I can only go off of what I see presented in this. Super fun movie. You know, it's not the most genius screenplay ever, but there is cool social commentary, and it's, you know, it's done with a nice bit of wit to it, so, you know, for what it is, it's good. A lot of parkour in there. Yeah, if you want a pretty solid action movie, I thought this was pretty damn good. I watched it with my dad, actually, because neither of us, I was like, yeah, you want to watch this Brick Mansions? Because, you know, I'm a huge fanboy of Fast and Furious. I got a Fast 9 poster right up there on my wall. Hopefully I could see that come May 2021. Come on Pfizer, come on Moderna. I'm not trying to turn this video into a discussion about that, so I better get off that track right now. But yeah, Brick Mansions. Fun action movie. Paul Walker, very underrated. I still need to get Hours that he was in, because that's a grim thing, but it's great. You're going to laugh at me for this. Everyone in the comments is going to be lighting up right now. Thomas and the Magic Railroad from Shout Factory. I was never the biggest fan of this movie as a kid, but I was a fanatic of the show. Especially like seasons 3 through 6, the George Carlin, Alec Baldwin era of Thomas and Friends. I've got all the toys that are still in bins in the attic. I have like everything Thomas. Like my whole basement in my childhood home was like Thomas. And so of course I always enjoyed the movie. I never watched it as much because it's very different from the show. The show is actually pretty well done. Don't judge the merit of the show based on this, even though it's done by Britt Allcroft, who's the same woman who was behind many of the glory days of that show. The cool thing about this Blu-ray, it's got deleted storylines, and you pretty much get an entirely alternate version of the movie from it, which is ripped from the work print. That was cool. It's such a weird movie though, because you would never know this was a Thomas film. It originally started out as like this drama with Peter Fonda, and it was really sad, really. And there was this over-the-top villain, which is like the big kind of selling point of the deleted storylines there. And that kind of stuff was cool to see. It was, because this is, you know, I'm 23 right now, and this is a movie I was watching when I was like 7. So it's funny going through all these years of your life. You've got this movie in the back of your head since the first time you saw it. And now here you are so many years later seeing an alternate original version of it you never knew existed. Because apparently the fan base of this has been clamoring for that version to be released for quite some time. I'm not looking up Thomas and Friends on a daily basis, so I had no clue it existed. But it was really cool to see. And they loaded this with special features. You gotta honor where you came from. You always gotta look at the past and keep kind of your child self in your heart. So I'm happy to have this in my collection. And now I may be the only person in the world who ever went in one video from talking about Thomas and the Magic Railroad to talking about The Nest, but here we are. This was a fun one too. Again, like kind of a loose script. It's basically Jaws. Like they pretty much copied Jaws and they mixed a little bit of like The Thing in there. But really good special effects, really good practical gore. Insects have never really bothered me too much. You know, that's why movies about spiders and bugs never really affected me too much, just because bugs just don't really bother me. But if they do, this not the movie for you. Good setting, you know, about lighthouses and kind of this coastal town, and great special effects. Like I said, the script, it takes a little bit to get going, but when it does, it does. And special effects are great. 87. Concord Pictures, I've seen their logo show up on quite a few different films, and they're usually kind of hit or miss. But this is a nice Shout Factory Blu-ray. So yeah, this is pretty solid. I got it up for around Halloween, and I enjoyed it. Now this one, I've got a very close personal story, because this movie was filmed 100% 5 minutes down the street from my house in Frankfort, Illinois, which is that I'm a village employee. I work for the village of Frankfort. I started working for the village of Frankfort while this was being filmed. Girl on the 3rd floor. Not only was this filmed entirely in a real live haunted house in Frankfurt, they based this movie entirely on the story of that house. Google Frankfort, Illinois haunted house. You'll find a lot of patch articles and everything about it. And if you go on my channel, just recently, 2 months ago in September, I got to do a walkthrough of the house. So if you want, you could see my very tour of this house right here on my channel. So if you're a paranormal haunted house enthusiast, go for it. It stars CM Punk. You know what? I like it. I've read a lot of mixed reviews. I think it's because I did the walkthrough of the house before I ever saw this movie. So I think just watching the movie was fun because I'm like, I was in that room. I walked through this whole house. And they even filmed some of it in the Frankfurt bowling alley too, which is really, I had no idea they did that. I'm like, oh my God. But you know, I'm a village employee, so I know all the committee people and all the zoning boards, so I got to know everything on how this movie came to be, and it's like I got to walk the house. It's not the best. It does have some really good special effects though, with these marbles, and it was just so weird. It was a weird experience because there were certain things when I was walking around touring the house, I'm like, oh, that's weird, huh? I wonder why that's there. Most of it came from this movie. And it's funny because when I was in the kitchen, and you'll see this in my walkthrough, there's a big blood stain on the ceiling. Well, this movie will show you how that got there. So very personal, very close to me, so that's why I'm kind of biased to this one. Girl on the Third Floor. And in light of that, I got these two in honor of Diane Franklin, who is one of the greatest human beings on the planet. Amityville II, The Possession, and Amityville Murders. This one where she plays the daughter, or this one where she plays the DeFeo mother. They're not playing the DeFeo family in this, but they're telling the DeFeo story. It's basically a prequel to the James Brolin film from the 70s. They just didn't use the names. But I don't know what the consensus is on this one, but I greatly enjoyed both of them. Diane Franklin probably gave her most dramatic, versatile performance in this, which I give her a lot of credit for. And then this one, Burt Young's in this one too. Burt Young and Diane Franklin are in both. The only thing with this one, you know, spoiler alert, after the whole family gets killed and it's just the kid, the teenage son, and the priest, it slows down a lot for it. Like, you'd think where this movie's gonna end, but it's like, no, there's like an hour left. And it kind of slows down in the third act. That's the only thing I'm going to say about this one. But don't let that discredit too much. It's still a great horror movie. I just wish the family was in it more, because after they got killed off, it kind of dragged. This one kind of fixes that. Obviously, it's lower budget. It's not as slick as this one is. But Diane's performance was great. Everyone did great. These are the only two Amityville movies I've seen, so I gotta continue my journey there. Got this one for Halloween, Happy Halloween Scooby-Doo DVD. I was interested because it's got Bill Nye and Elvira both in it, and they're both used to a very fun potential. It's about these jack-o'-lantern monsters going around eating people and turning them into jack-o'-lanterns. Fun, harmless Scooby-Doo, Frank Welker, Matthew Lillard. I watched it a couple days before Halloween and I had a lot of fun. So, yeah, happy Halloween. I'm a lifelong Scooby fan, what can I say? Resurrection with Christopher Lambert. I know it's a cash-in on 7. This is so similar to 7. The guy that plays his partner was even in 7. I really like this. This is a very underrated thing. Yes, it's very similar to 7, but it's also a damn good movie on its own with some great, really disturbing imagery. Christopher Lambert does great. Yeah, I really don't have many complaints about this. I thought this was a great film with some great twists. Resurrection, I dig. Underrated. I recommend it. This one didn't do that much for me. The Butterfly Effect. Some very disturbing imagery, disturbing, kind of thought-provoking storyline, but didn't do too much. I like Ashton Kutcher, you know, Kelso. That one didn't do for me. I got that in the closeout bin. A lot of these DVDs all came from the closeout bin. Same thing with this Mr. Baseball with Tom Selleck. I like fish out of water movies, but this is nowhere close to something like Crocodile Dundee. You know, Tom Selleck does good. You know, there's some funny scenes in it. It does kind of drag a little bit in places. It's not the most laugh-out-loud comedy I've seen. And this is a terrible Good Times DVD, so like the widescreen aspect ratio is like this thick. I don't know, about this one, but it's not terrible. But like I said, I got it for $1 in the closeout bin, so you get what you get. Same thing. Chasing Amy, my first ever Kevin Smith film. I haven't seen anything Kevin Smith has done. I know this is part of the trilogy with what, like Mallrats and Clerks and that whole New Jersey thing. Not really my kind of movie. It started fun, like where they're at the comic convention and they're kind of making fun of fans and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a blast. But then when it became a rom-com, not even a rom-com, it became more of just like a drama, like a romance drama. And everyone, in my opinion, all the characters were just unlikable. This one didn't do much for me, guys. I'm sorry. Like, I know Jay and Silent Bob are like the big characters, but I'm just like, I like Ben Affleck, but I'm like, I didn't really get to, like, I didn't like her. Like, the actress playing the girl Alyssa, her voice. I don't know. I'm sorry for my movie. I know that has like a 7 on IMDb, Chasing Amy. I struck out with a couple of these DVDs. I'm sorry, like Blue Vinyl. I got this because it sounded like a crazy documentary. The world's first toxic comedy, funny, irreverent, scary, and hilarious. Blue Vinyl. It's a documentary about how poisonous vinyl siding is for the environment. I was expecting something really off the wall and crazy. It's pretty slow and boring. It's like this woman going around. You gotta take your chances sometimes, guys. Like with this one. Oh, shit. I had never heard of this before in my life. I bought it from the closeout bin for $1. I took one look. I looked at the cast. I read the plot. And I said, why the fuck have I never heard of this? Motorama. Has anyone ever heard of this? Because I have never heard of this a day in my life. Basically what this is, it's a 10-year-old kid, steals a Mustang, goes on a cross-country joyride playing this game, Motorama, which is basically like, you know how McDonald's does the Monopoly? It's kind of like a version of that. But it's this kid going around the country, and he's getting beaten and abused by all these people, but it's a comedy. It's like if you took the McDonald's Monopoly promotion, mixed it with $1 Million Mystery, that movie from the 80s, and like North. This is a strange. I recommend watching it just for something fucking weird, because I have never seen anything like this before. Like, if that plot strikes you in a 10-year-old kid going on a joyride, getting beat up by getting into an arm wrestling tournament with Meatloaf, yeah, that happens. I got some weird shit in this update, don't I? Then that, I don't think this one needs much introduction. Very solid movie. Very great cyber thriller from the 90s. This one was good. You know, it's not, you know, the most edge of your seat suspense, but it's interesting enough that it keeps you drawn in until the end. You know, Sandra Bullock, I don't think the net needs too much introduction. Paycheck with Ben Affleck. Another Ben Affleck. This one's a lot better than Chasing Amy, in my opinion. Stupid sci-fi, mindless action fun. And this movie has some crazy action set pieces in it. So this one was enjoyable. I did like Paycheck. A lot of the stunts in this one, I give credit to. They got some really cool, fun action scenes in that. Great drama right here. Frequency. Very thought-provoking, very introspective of a film. Yeah, I don't know, and it's fun because I've always wanted to see the Northern Lights. That's on my bucket list. This year, I was originally supposed to go to Iceland in December, and then coronavirus hit. And the Northern Lights kind of play a part in this, and it's a really thought-provoking drama that really gets you thinking about life and your loved ones, about, like, what if you were able to talk to a relative who's been dead for 30 years? You know, and what would you say? How would you go about it? I really like this. You know, dramas are hit or miss with me, but I found this really endearing and really sweet and really dramatic, intense. This one gets a recommendation. I thought that was a great film. Kudos to my friend Ryan, who sent me 4 on the Floor. If you ask me what the hell is 4 on the Floor, it was like this sketch comedy show, a la Mad TV, SNL, with these 4 guys called the Frantics. I have never heard of in my life. But this is all 13 episodes of the show, and he put an episode of Darkwing Duck there as a bonus. So 4 on the Floor and Darkwing Duck is right here. It's funny though. Like, a lot of the sketches are so short. They're like blackout type sketches, but it's hilarious. I mean, Canoe Head alone is hilarious. Each episode starts with this intro where they're driving in the car and something like a bazooka, or they change the tire while they're driving the car. It's something crazy. The complete series of this is on YouTube. Look up 4 on the Floor by the Frantics from the 80s. Hilarious sketch comedy show. Thanks to my friend Ryan for burning me those. I bought this at Disc Replay on a blind whim, and I loved it. I saw this sitting on the shelf. It was facing me, and I just looked at the cover. I said, that looks like something I would like. The complete series from 1993 to 1994 of Cobra, starring Michael Dudikoff and James Tolkien, of Top Gun and Back to the Future fame. I love this show. My dad and I started watching it, and I was hooked. And some episodes are really strong. There's one with Conchata Ferrell, R.I.P. There's an awesome, almost Silence of the Lambs-ish episode with Richard Lynch about this arsonist that they think is a ghost. That's a really cool. The singer who was killed, and they have to prove the boyfriend's innocence before he's put on the electric chair. Or the Chapman episode. My name's not Chapman. Michael Dudikoff, he's kind of wooden, but he's got enough charisma to him to where it's entertaining and fun to watch him in a show like this. But the best character of the whole show is James Tolkien. His character, Dallas Castle, is hilarious. You just watch the intro of this show and you know what you're in for. The cyber dating episode with the really socially awkward computer hacker guy, that's a fun episode too. If you like 80s cop shows, especially obscure ones, what are you doing? You gotta go out and find yourself a course. I got this for free too with a coupon, which was really nice. Awesome show. I loved it. I can't recommend that one highly enough. I found this for $20 and I scooped it up because Apple, being a bunch of dickheads, they're keeping Peanuts exclusive to Apple Plus, which I think is horse shit, but who am I to judge? So I found this for $20. It's going for like $100 on Amazon, so I scooped it up. The Peanuts 1970s collection. And I was always a Charlie Brown fan growing up. I always had a lot of the VHS tapes. This one's got Play It Again, Charlie Brown, You're Not Elected, Charlie Brown. Perfect timing, huh? There's No Time for Love, Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, It's a Mystery, Charlie Brown, It's the Easter Beagle, Charlie Brown, and a featurette, Woodstock, Creating Snoopy's Sidekick. Peanuts doesn't need much introduction, so I was quick to scoop that up. And lastly, it's the end of an era in these DVD, Blu-ray updates. Because you guys know at the end of a lot of these updates, I've been showing this series called Real Wheels with this guy Dave Hood. And the series is like, there goes a fire truck, there goes a boat, there goes a mail truck, etc., etc. I've managed to collect all of his stuff on DVD, because I had all the VHS tapes as a kid. I had every single one. Now I got the final DVD I needed to complete the Real Wheels DVD collection, for the ones that were released on me. There were a couple that never made it past VHS, but I already ripped those to DVD, so we're good. Travel adventures, with There Goes a Train, There Goes an Airplane, and There Goes a Bus. Train and Plane were early, so those were before Becky ever came on, and that's when these were in their prime, when it was Dave and Becky, because they worked off each other perfectly. You know, they're my childhood heroes. And There Goes a Bus was one of the later ones after Becky, so it's like so you don't get any Becky with this one, unfortunately, but you know, it's Davehood. Dave is a joy. Bus is entertaining. The bloopers on this one are pretty fun, because that's another fun thing about collecting all these DVDs is you get the bloopers, which as a kid, obviously, you never saw any of those on any of the tapes. So, yeah, shout out to Dave Hood and Becky, even though you're not in any of these three. Still love you, Becky. Yeah, you two are my childhood heroes, so it's good I can finally complete my Real Wheels DVD. Alright, well, I showed a lot of random shit this time around. Hopefully you guys were humored and entertained by the random assortment of stuff I had. If for nothing else, then Patrick's birthday party. I don't know, but thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a very safe, happy Thanksgiving. Please stay home, wear your mask, don't drag this shit out, and yeah, I'm not going to go on the rant here. Just be safe and be smart. Don't do anything stupid this Thanksgiving. Tell your family you love them. Alright, only 31 minutes this time. You know, this has become kind of a running theme. Me commenting on how long the update was at the end. And as you see over there, I already got the Christmas tree up. So, yeah, there we go. Alright, enough of me doing stupid jokes. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Take care.